My point is, though, like, when you hear barbecue, aren't you usually expecting, like, big slabs of meat? Otherwise, you're just using the grill for whatever. Yeah. The thing I go to, never have, like, steaks or hamburgers, something like that. It's always kebabs. And the reason being, I think, is that, one, they're probably cheaper to make overall, which I'm not disparaging. It's, like, a good idea. And then two, it is something different than every other barbecue that usually happens. The problem is, I don't really go to many barbecues. So when I'm like kind of excited to have myself like a hamburger that was cooked on a grill outdoorsy type, I instead get a kebab, which is, it's okay. It's just not, it's not barbecue. And then, you know, all the other typical fixins that happen with a barbecue, like mashed potatoes or loaded potatoes and macaroni and cheese and coleslaw and all that stuff. All the really, like, you know, bad stuff for you that you excuse yourself, you know, eating because it's just one day, it's just one barbecue. That doesn't happen either, okay? So I feel like a little cheated whenever I go to these things. Why do you go to them then? Why do you go then? Because friendos. That's why. Also, it is at the end of the day free food, I suppose. And sometimes I really want kebabs, but do you call it a barbecue? That is the ultimate philosophical question. Please debate and chat as you see fit. In the bottom right, as the orange Zerg, it is Ayaba desu. In the top left, as the blue Zerg, it is QB. And she went for that pool first. She might be a little on guard against Ayaba's cheeses. Or anyone, really. ZVZ, you're the person to beat. You know, you got that bullseye on your back. You're gonna be defensive. We saw that in her versus Protoss, and now we're seeing it versus Zerg. But it does also give you a little bit of a early attack here. Best case scenario, they don't make any lings whatsoever, and you get a couple of drones. I haven't gone to this barbecue in a very long time. So I kind of felt like almost obligated to go. Haven't seen these guys in a while. They were the old DC Korean barbecue crew. There's a couple drones that she wants to get to be happy with this opener. And Ayaba went for 2 lings, but only 2 lings, so that isn't ideal. Caught being a little bit greedy. Even 4 lings is like a little bit better here. 2 drones go down, maybe a few more. That'd be great. Yeah, we used to go and eat Korean barbecue. Oh my god, if you get a queen, that is literally the best case scenario ever. Oh my god. There's no way she gets a second queen. Okay, even she gave up on the idea. It would have been close, but I'm pretty sure the queen would have lived. Woohoo, so does that drone, but 2 drones and a queen for 6 lings? Oh god, that's so worth it for QB. Good stuff, good stuff. So yeah, we used to have Korean barbecue like even every weekend. They'd get together and then we'd go to a PC bong and play StarCraft, either Brood War or StarCraft 2. And there was like DC LANs that would happen every month for a while there. But most of these guys were like Brood War elitists a little bit. And everyone eventually, you know, got into the real life, real job, all that type of stuff. So, stopped seeing each other as often. But still a cool group. And since I have no social life when I'm back at home, not really anyways, it's always nice to get outdoors and do something. It's supposed to rain though, and that kind of sucks. QB starting a little bit of aggression here, but it's not really real. It's not real reals. It's like real fake. It's fake real. She gets a couple drones behind this, 8 more lings, sure, but it's not a whole lot, but it is catching Ayaba really off guard because Ayaba tried to skip the Baneling nest. And as QB realizes, like, hey, you actually literally don't have anything here, she is going to commit to this even more. Not only does Ayaba have no lings and no Baneling, she also doesn't have a Roach Warren, or she doesn't have a Roach count up yet. As you see, only just 2 now, 5 on the way. And no wall either, so QB is rightfully trying to take advantage of this, and if she had known about it from the get-go, right, she had map packs on or whatever, she probably would have just simply all in with lings and banelings. As it is, it gets a little awkward, you know, it's still not a ton of lings, and more roaches are on the way. Tries to get some hidden banelings in the main base, but the queen's on top of it. And here comes Roach as well, there we go. But behind it, QB is going for her missile upgrade, getting her own Roach Warren. She does need to be careful about being countered if Aiba has her Roach count growing and has some typical... No, wrong upgrade. Has Roach speed on the way. She could be in for some trouble, but there's actually no lair, and QB would have seen that with her scouting, so this is no longer just like a counter because like FU type thing. This is actually an all-in that QB might be a little underprepared for. She's gonna have to hold off initially with lings and banelings, and that is usually a bad sign. With how little Aiba's actually throwing at her right now, I think it actually would be okay. And with the hatchery-based attack, right, you definitely don't have Roach speed. That's how that works. So you have a little bit of time to maneuver. Hopefully you take some decent trades to start things off. And you can buy time for that Roach Warren, but that is the rub here. That's what QB could have messed up on. But just so few units. I don't know. I want to be high, but these Banelands are going to get some connections. Maybe not the best connections, but some of them. They're going right for the Ravagers. No, decided to go for the clump of Roaches. And with so many Banelings, they do actually take out 5 Roaches, I believe that was. 1 Roach gets surrounded. And Ravagers are going to be the lower health here, so if they get surrounded, they go down very, very easily. 7 Roaches about to pop, even with the +1 attack in 12 seconds, means that QB is, in fact, going to hold. Maybe if Aiba wasn't so transparent, having been scouted, if she didn't take so much damage, it could have been different. But this is game point in favor of QB. You guys ever had grilled pineapple? Yes, it's pretty good. I haven't got on board with it, like it's not my favorite thing in the whole wide world. Neither is watermelon with salt on it. Because people will be like, this is literally the second coming of Christ. And you're like, okay, calm down. But it's pretty good. Looks like Aiba's not ready to give up yet. Now, she's working with Pure Ling right now, and that does open up some maybe run-by opportunities, right? But, oh, speaking of which, I thought she saw this coming, because she was literally, like, moving her roaches towards it, but then didn't block, so that's kind of odd. But she has her own Lings getting 6, 7, maybe 8 drones with the damage. Well, these Lings are struggling to get even just 1. Come on, here we go. There it is. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm actually going to even things up here, but for a much worse trade of Lings, right? QB had the drone lead for a very long time, so I know she's only up by 4 right now. She has been up quite a bit for a while. There you go, income advantage. Look at that. Look at that peak at 1,350. That's a lot. And, of course, has that +1 missile and generally a bigger army. So just everything is still going in favor of QB, who's looking for the kill. A little premature. You know, that Roach speed did not start off as quickly as she would have hoped to have time out with the push. You know, really look totes pro. But it's gonna maybe not even matter. A couple Roaches go to the north side, and the overlords of Aiba aren't quite in position to see that. Oh, awkward, 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 awkward. So now they see it, but she is currently being attacked in the front lines. Queens were brought forward to help out here. Only 1 Corrosive Bile for Aiba means she can't really hope for those amazing comeback biles. She will just die to the numbers. And her drone count's also being attacked at the same time. And that'll be it. GG. QB takes game number 1. Urbane's really good defense versus Roaches. No, not usually. Neither are Lings, but there are always those specific situations. Isn't kebab just a steak on a stick? If they put like literal like cuts of steak, right, on it, then I could see that. But usually it's shrimp, chicken, and like marinated chicken. New Repugnancy will be our next game. This is a best of 5. There we go. So, couple of chances to bring this back for QB. She kind of knows the, she's realistic about what happens here. QB, just very good ZVZ, was always nipping at the heels of Telia, and then Aiba, while she did occasionally, you know, especially in the early days, give Telia a run for her money, that was bad. What buttons am I pressing here? There we go. I thought I pressed that. Anyways, that was back in the beginning, you know, almost a year ago at this point, where Telia was kind of just like derping around StarCraft 2. Then she got really back into it. Now she's out of it. Whatever. We do have a 12 pull here for our Orange Zerg. Now, QB did pull first last game, and I brought up that she might just be expecting something like this. It does make things a little bit nicer when you already have a queen, when you already have the ability to make your own lings. In some ways, it gets awkward compared to like a 16 hatch, which gives you 2 queens at the same time. And also have the creeps for the natural, you have the larva at the natural, you have a little hatchery that in certain situations you can actually go ahead and just give up, right? So in this way, like in this case, her hatchery would be still building, not as much health, and you know, the second queen would be, I think, building in the main, I want to say. I don't know the exact timings, but usually when you have the pool as well, you're going to feel a bit better. And Aiba's not even doing like the super all-in, right? No gas here. No drone pool. This drone's gonna build a hatchery, not go put a spine crawler. And QB didn't only go for a pool first, she actually went for gas first. Gas, then pool, then hatch. So she will have the ability to make queen and lings, and she sees the lings of Aiba, so she knows to make her own lings here. And with Defender's Advantage and slow lings, she will be able to match these. It's just a great situation. The quote-unquote downside was that she might take more damage on her hatchery, but because it's such a non-committal pool, this is probably the best case scenario for QB, where she not only deflects this super easily, but she doesn't get stuck maybe like gas or something like that, because she thinks she needs to take them out of gas or something weird like that, right? Nah, she's gonna have speed, like actually quite quickly, and be able to really punish Aiba on the return. So if Aiba does this and then is kind of realizing like, wait a second, this is a really late hatchery, if she tries to get the wall up, it'll still be a babby wall, right? If QB were to go for a follow-up all-in. But QB kind of awkwardly loses an Overlord here. As you can see, Aiba was trying to get them as much damage under the hatchery, and it does take about half its health and damage. So that was the kind of awkward part I was talking about. But if you're gonna match ling for ling, you should never really lose the hatchery. It gets a little awkward though. The surround goes favorable for our Orange Zerg, but then tries to tango with the queen, which is a little too much for those lings to actually chew on, and they do lose their lives. So does Aiba know exactly what's going on there? As I said, if there's a follow-up all-in counter attack from QB, even if there is a wall actually, and there won't be, even if you got to start it with the creep spread, you know, only now coming out here, it would be a very, very weak wall. It'd be a babby wall. Aiba also doesn't have an Overlord that close to scouting this, so she now sees it. But with Speedlings, that's like, what, 2 seconds advance notice? The wall cannot be made. I actually thought that it would be out there in time, but it's absolutely not. So this is just going to be game over for Aiba. I think, yeah, a pool first and just a pool first against a gas pool first is probably the worst case scenario for, yeah, the pool first player. Like, I hesitate to use the word build order win, but it's kind of what it feels like. You just don't see it very often. Sometimes you see 12 pool versus 12 pool. Sometimes you see gas pool, like whatever, right? But GG. I don't recall the last time I saw 12 pool no gas versus gas 17, 16 pool, whatever it is. That was pretty crazily one-sided at the end there. Now, there's maybe potential that QB doesn't do the attack with lings, but there basically be no reason not to. You have the timing of the speed. You were planning on being aggressive even if Aiba didn't attack you. And you saw with your Overlord, I guess you didn't really see what the Overlord had died, didn't it? But you could see with the Overlord how late their wall would be. Or she just knew, because she plays so many more ZVZs than I ever will. Gotta try me some Korean barbecue. Korean barbecue is, in my opinion, the best barbecue. But I also really like all the miscellaneous Korean foods, and I like the idea of having like a little bit of everything, which is very Korean. And don't get me wrong, like I will love like some cornbread, brisket, and like coleslaw and mac and cheese and stuff. Like that can be the bomb, but I think Korean barbecue is the best. Just the way that their cuts of meat that they use, I guess. And then you can mix it in with all the side dishes, like the rice wrapper and the radish wrapper, and then a little bit of the gochujang with a little bit of the bean sprouts. It's just not what usually people expect from barbecue. Because for, I mean, most Americans especially, barbecue is barbecue. And then even if you talk about maybe like Brazilian barbecue, that still is mostly just like meat. Here's a big slab of meat. And I'll cut it for you off this big spear I have in my hand. Also, there's a salad bar, but no one ever wastes their time with that. And then Hawaiian barbecue. You know what? I actually haven't had Hawaiian barbecue, so I can't speak much to it. There's literally no Hawaiian food in the state of Virginia. I swear, I swear, I swear. Now, I could be wrong, because I've never been everywhere in Virginia, but in my immediate vicinity, like the 15 minutes to an hour that I looked on the map that it would take me to get Hawaiian food, there is none. There is literally a place like in Baltimore, I think, which is like an hour plus away, so I don't want to go there. Another gas pool here from QB. I'm getting so hungry right now, guys. Ugh. But I did finally have Hawaiian cuisine in California. Now, it wasn't like, you know, real Hawaiian cuisine, and there wasn't like a bunch of choices, and I'm sure it's nothing compared to when you actually go to Hawaii, but I was rather impressed. I thought it was quite delicious. I tried Loco Moco, which if you guys have never had, it's a bed of rice topped with 2 hamburger patties, topped with gravy, and eggs, and 2 eggs. And then coleslaw and like macaroni salad. Fuck, I'm hungry. Okay, anyways. Then I tried spam musubi, which is, it's like spam sushi, kind of. Literally a bed of rice, piece of spam, wrapped in seaweed. You know, it was delicious. And I want more Hawaiian food. But all you get around here, in our new age hipster shit, whatever, or poke bowl places, that aren't even very good. And this makes me very grumpy. This makes me very hangry. Anyway, so that's enough time to talk about the Ling's opener. So we get the pool first appearance here, right? We get 6 Lings coming across the map. All Aiba can really tell from that is that it's a pool first. With the gas pool, I mean, I'm sure the timings are a bit different, but I don't know if you can actually tell that it's also a gas there. Maybe it's like a 5-second, 10-second difference. And when you get to the pro level, these guys are literally looking at the clock when things appear when they shouldn't be, and they're like, oh, that hit at 10 seconds earlier than whatever else, right? But I could not tell you. So right now, I'd say it definitely looks like a pool first, and that's it. That's what QB did in the first game, too, so it's kind of like leaning towards that. But the problem is that the speed's still going to follow up pretty quickly. And she could have gone for a Ling all-in, but she's actually building drones, so we're not going to have the 2 base Ling all-in. This would have been a bit weirder of a map to do it on. I think, 1, there was no awkward opener, and then 2, this does have, I think, an easier wall than the last map, which had a creeper that had to go really, really far on the last map to do anything. This one, you could start the wall right now, which would be barely in time for a Speedling all-in. Like, Speedling's just finished. But the keyword is barely. Maybe that still would have worked. And Aiba has not been really scouting with 2 Lings into her opponent's base, and that's generally what sees, like, hey, I'm 2-base Ling all-inning you, but no, nope, not the case. Banley Nest goes down, 3rd base as well, but a lot of Lings are being made. She wants to pressure here, but with the wall already up and running and actually going to be a healthy wall, I don't know if this is actually going to work. With more Lings on the way, it's becoming increasingly apparent that she's going to try and Banling bust this. She will need quite a few Banlings, but she has saved up quite a bit of gas, so this might just work out totally perfectly. Aiba's not going to immediately build roaches if she doesn't think she has to. She's going to continue building drones and get first to 48, right, or somewhere around there, so that she has a fully saturated 2 bases. And then if they do go into a longer game, she can worry about the 3rd base later. But the Lings do show themselves with the first Overlord, which is, again, a little bit far away. But because no Banelings... Actually, I say no Banelings. 4 Banelings were made, that's it? I think the wall is going to do fine. Actually, no Transfuse. The Queen with the higher energy is on the front line. That's been a mistake there. Roaches are being made now, and this does hold. So only losing 1 Queen. It's not bad. Maybe 2? We're just gonna lose 2 Queens. But still, a lot of Lings lose their lives for that. And Aiba does have the higher drone count. Already has the +1 on the way, obviously. Now going for a Nidus Worm. QB did start her Roach Warren as soon as she realized maybe the attack wasn't going to work. So she'll have the ability to make Roaches. And because she didn't use all that gas to make Banelings, she does have gas to utilize her Roach Warren with. Because that's usually the awkward thing. Is that you're like, oh, I need roaches, I'll go ahead and transition, and then you didn't get the extra gases and you fail miserably. Not from personal experience, of course, I do everything correctly. But no, she's gonna have a lot to actually produce here. Even has the larva. She stopped droning at 42, so a little bit above Aiba, but she also has the 3rd base, right? That's another big benefit that she has. She does not realize it's a Nidus Worm, but she is very aware that it could be. Ling is scouting for this. She actually does see it, but does she say it? Say it. Roaches, go over there. Lings are coming across. No 5 armor this time, but it's going to be so close. The Queens, they can't pop out. Even if they try, I don't think they can pop out. That was very, very close. Another Nidus Worm with a natural, but with Speedlings. They are speedy little Lings, aren't they? Once again with this round, some roaches pop out too, and nothing pops out of this Nidus Worm, and unfortunately, the Nidus shenanigans is not going to work. Aiba goes right back into droning, but actually, one of those funny things that happen when the Zerg's instant response, the reaction is to just drone, because that's probably what they should be doing in the first place. It's actually oversaturated her on 2 bases, and it's going to be a while before she gets a 3rd. Well, 3rd safely, I should say. QB does go for the... Oh, she's looking for it? Okay, she's might be looking for Nidus Worms, but... If she goes for the attack with Speedlings, Aiba doesn't have anything to protect this. So with an Overlord scouting that, she should send them, and that's exactly what she does. Nidus Worm is over on the right side, which is spotted by the Overlord. QB is going to get the snipe on the 3rd and kills on the drones, while dealing with Nidus Worm and building drones of her own to saturate her 3rd. So... Actually, it looks like the Lings went for the drones. And the Nidus didn't work, so the roaches all came back. So that wasn't as bad as I thought that could have been. 2 Banelings make their way in, though, and kill 6 drones. Really nicely done. Overlord might die, but QB has found herself in a really dominant position. Up in workers, up at 3rd base, up in army supply. Just lacking that +1 missile, but it's actually not that far behind +2, especially if we see any contaminates go down. That could be really cool. Roach speed finishes faster for a blue Zerg. That's not a real Ling. That's a changeling. No one wants to go to Baltimore, they just end up there accidentally. Grim. Everyone's talking about food in chat still. We're really watching the follow-up to a really strong start in a ZVZ. Right? If you have like that 10 drone lead and you keep it for a while and then you both decide to go into roaches, we're basically waiting for the person in the lead to get maxed with roach speed and then move across the map. So that's literally what I'm waiting for. Not to be a big downer, but that's what's gonna end here. Actually, QB attacking before her max out, but still with a 40 army supply lead. Roach speed not quite done for Aiba, and she's also caught in a very awkward position, totally concaved on. About like 80% of her roaches weren't even attacking initially, and that makes this fight very easy for QB, who attacks before that +2 was done for her opponent. Everything in her favor, including this series. It's going to be a 3-0 for QB. She will keep the crown of Banshee Queen. And while the finals weren't as much of a test as, say, the semifinals, she does once again prove herself against some fearsome opponents. And that'll be that. Yeah, even not willing to tap out quite yet. It is the last game, so we try. But when it comes to roaches, they are one of the saddest things to try and depend on, you know what I mean? Like, literally just count how many roaches do I have, how many roaches do they have. If this is disruptors, or colossus, or tanks, or whatever, like, splash can go a long way. But, or drops even go a long way. You know, I got 2 medevacs, I got a dream, but roaches? You're just literally, well, they have more roaches than I do. QB, I guess, respecting the choice to turtle here. Up to 4 bases, 56 workers, also adding on a spire. That will be the ultimate kill move. Even if I were to get spore crawlers and defend 2 bases against mutas, QB could easily decide to just go into mass muta, like 20, 30 mutas. And unless you get to like infestors, no amount of... Ooh, nice cancel. No amount of spore crawlers will really stop that. Well, you know, anybody respect it, but I'm also kind of hungry. QB goes in for her own scout on what, yeah, I guess could have very possibly been a spire of her opponent. I'd say she'd also be looking for a Nidus Worm, but she knows her opponent has that. Aiba tries to take a 3rd base. She's like poking out of like the hole she made in the ground. She's like, is it safe to come out? Nope, it's not. Getting collapsed in on. QB doesn't even really dodge out those corrosive bios, just takes it. Even has an upgrade lead for this last battle here with the Carapace finishing up. GG, well played. QB takes the 3-0. And that will be it for Banshee tournament number 19.